Monica Kaufman close-ups.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that wanna own me, 2 that wanna stone me, 1 says she's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy.
At 34, country singer Travis Tritt has been doing anything but taking it easy. Already, he's soared with the Eagles, jammed with Little Feat, starred in television and films, rocked at the Super Bowl, written an autobiography, married and divorced twice, became the youngest artist inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, and in the meantime, the Georgia native has sold more than 6 million albums.
What's this business about this little boy from Marietta?
No kidding. James Travis Tritt's professional career seems like it's hurtling on warp speed, and it matches the hard-rockin' southern boogie country music he's been playing for nearly 10 years. But when I visited his new home near Marietta, he was laid back, modest even, about his accomplishments, his future, and the country estate he's landscaped and refurbished.
When you saw it, what did you think?
Oh, I thought it was a great resemblance, don't you? That is a 17th century chest that was in Elvis's house in Beverly Hills.
Why you got so much Elvis stuff?
Every kid I knew, wanted to be Elvis. But I guess I wanted to be Elvis more than anything because of the versatility.
Oh, here they are. They have their own garage.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I remember this bike because when you bought it, you decided you were gonna drive it out, and your dad was with you.
Oh, yes.
And you got to the bottom and almost lost it.
Oh, it's so big and it's so heavy. And I didn't realize how heavy these things were. And I got to the bottom of this big, long hill where the dealership was, and it was like, oh, this is not going to be good. I don't want to wreck this thing the first day, So you have to go. It's kind of that humbling experience, too. You go to your dad and you go, Dad, I don't think I'm going to be able to drive this thing home. Now, please don't embarrass me. Just get on it and drive it home, and I'll follow you. How about that?
Your dog loves you when nobody else does.
Truer words have never been spoken.
There they are.
There they are. Hey, Junior. Come here, Otis. Oh, hey, buddy. Come here. Come on. Hey. Hey,
yes, I love Hank Williams, but I still love rock and roll.
I like looking again to that open field and those trees. Oh, you really are a cook. You got a Sub-Zero refrigerator.
I cook a little, yeah, but don't tell anybody.
I still think there's lots of room for old outlaws like us.
Do you ever pinch yourself?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
I mean, and say, look at what I got.
Every single day.
When Travis bought this house, he didn't have far to move. 3 years ago, he was living in his parents' first home in Marietta. Visiting in his new den, it seemed natural to reminisce. And we started by going way back to the time he first realized his musical gifts.
You remember the old song, Trailers for Sale, or Rent? And it had that little snap thing going on, in the background. And I guess it's one of the things that you hear and you automatically just kind of relate to, and I did at a very early age.
And you were singing at 4.
Singing in church formally at 4. I was singing way before then, but sang for the first time that I ever remember doing a public performance was in Marietta at the First Assembly of God in Marietta, Georgia, and I sang all of the lead lines to Everything is Beautiful in Its Own Way. And the children's choir came in and backed us up, and that was like, I got hooked right there.
Because, as I understood, for the first time in that church, people actually applauded.
Yeah, you didn't applaud in Assembly of God church. I mean, that's just something that wasn't done, And you might get a strong amen, but that's about it, And at the end of the song, we got like a standing ovation. And that's what I think hooked me on applause right off the bat.
And then you picked up the guitar. Your daddy actually got you a guitar. It was a little cheap one.
Yeah, little bitty toy guitar, little plastic one. And I used to sit around. He would play some, and I would sit around with him Matter of fact, I think there's a picture somewhere of me standing on a chair about this tall and standing next to my dad playing guitar, you know. But for years, I just banged on it, you know.
Now, but your dad got kind of concerned about you and the guitar because there was the one Christmas, I think it was, you wanted a 12-string guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted to get you a rifle.
Oh, yeah. My dad was trying to do anything to get me, A, away from music, and B, out of the house, because I spent all my time there. All I wanted to do was stay in my room and play my guitar and work on my music. It was a passion, and he never understood that passion, and I think he was afraid of me turning out to be something that was a preconceived notion about musicians. They were the ones, while everybody else was out working fields or picking cotton or whatever, they would be up on the porch with a guitar, you know, too lazy to work. And those were the ones, my dad told me many, many times, musicians are always the ones that end up drunks, drug addicts, and never have anything. How
does he feel about your career now?
I can't talk to my dad for more than about 10 minutes without him welling up. I mean, it's he is so proud, and it makes me proud to know that you know, that I proved him wrong, but not so much that I just proved him wrong, but that I showed him that, Dad, I can do this. And that, I think, has been one of the most important accomplishments of my life.
Travis graduated from Sprayberry High School, where I heard he had the reputation of being somewhat of a nerd.
I don't know that I've been described that by some people. Everybody in school knew me because I played at all the school functions, you know, as far as music was concerned. But I didn't know a lot of them. And I was a person who kind of kept to himself. I was a loner. I never really had the gift of gab growing up. You know, I was always pretty shy. So...
Wait a minute.
No.
I've seen you on stage.
I know.
I have a real hard time seeing you as shy.
Well, you know what? There's a person that comes out in me on stage that doesn't exist anywhere else except right there on stage. And that's not to say that what's on stage is phony, but it's like there's this deep inner desire to go out and knock people out when I get on stage. And when I'm on stage, I have the attitude that I am not leaving up here until these people are thoroughly entertained. And whatever I have to do to make that happen, I will do that. But that's a funny thing. But I was very, very shy when I was growing up and didn't have... my guitar introduced me to every other friend I ever had, you know. So that's one of the reasons that I think I kind of kept to myself. And music was my outlet. Because music, I found out right off the bat, even though I didn't have that gift of gab and couldn't walk up and talk to a girl, I could go up to her and sing the latest love song that she's listening to on the radio, and that automatically drew attention to me. So, you know, that's every guy you ever talk to that's in this business will tell you the same thing. They'll tell you, you ask them, how did you get in this business? Why did you get in? And they'll tell you the same thing. And if they don't, they're lying to you. They did it to get the girls.
I found it interesting that your chorus teacher just thought you really needed help on your voice.
It was really kind of funny because I think he recognized right off the bat that I did have a certain amount of talent, that I could stay on pitch anyway. And he wanted me very badly to be in his special chorus, or what they called like a stage chorus, where they travel around and entered into competitions and so on and so forth. And I didn't want to, because I didn't want to sing like this, you know. I wanted to sing like George Jones, you know. So I turned him down, and I think he took it very personally. And so he came back. We were doing Godspell, the only play I ever did in school, and the only thing I did in the play was the music. I didn't have any acting roles. And he came up to me. There's a point in that play where there's a song called On the Willows. It's right after Jesus has been crucified. That is one of the most emotional, sad parts in the play. And I'm singing this song, and there's not a dry eye in the house. And everyone's coming up to me after the thing, saying, oh, that was so touching, it was so moving, your voice was beautiful, yada, yada, yada. And he walks up to me and he says, so you're not going to be in my special chorus next year? And I said, no, I really don't feel comfortable with that. And he says, That's a shame. I still think I could teach you how to sing.
But Travis learned on his own, quite nicely, thank you. He never learned to read music, but that didn't stop him from performing nor writing his own songs for the kind of music he calls the soundtrack for the common man.
That's where I write. This is where I do most of my writing.
And you do. Well, that gets into the next area, and that's talking about the songs that you write, because you say you write from personal experiences, that you can't do like other people, just sit down, give you a name, give you a word, give you a scene, and then write.
No.
What a chance they were taking when they first started breaking the laws of the Bible Belt.
The song Bible Belt came out of a scandal at his hometown church, and
Another song which you had a hard time getting on your album because they thought it was too gimmicky. And it's turned out to be the song everybody remembers you for.
Well, here's a quarter called Someone Who Cares.
It was never intended to be heard by anybody but me. I wrote that. Second set of divorce papers had been delivered to my house. I was 26, 27 years old and divorced for the second time in my life, which was pretty devastating. And the sheriff comes up, knocks on the door, hands me the papers, and I'm going back. And I sit down in my living room, and I thought, this is really, really traumatic. And I sat down and said to myself, God, I can do one of two things. I can either go out tonight and get extremely drunk and wake up tomorrow with a terrible hangover and still have this terrible, terrible feeling, or else I can do something positive to try to get over this. And that's exactly what I did. And I sat down and I started writing and playing with my guitar, and the song just came. I mean, it came in about 10 minutes. And it made me laugh. It made me laugh. I chuckled to myself when the song was over. So I just kept it as my own little...
Fact is, you're wrong, girl, that can't be undone. So here's a quarter called Someone Who Cares.
the whole world will get a chance to hear Travis Tritt's stories next year when he joins several other Southern singers representing Georgia in the Olympics.
Could not have an Olympic ceremony in Atlanta without me down there. If I have to crawl on my hands and knees up and down Peachtree Street. This is my home. This is where I live. Born and raised, breastfed, hand spanked, right here. You know? So for me to have an opportunity right down the road from me to have an international event that I don't get a chance to be part of wouldn't be right. Wouldn't be right. I immediately, as soon as we found out that the Olympics were coming to town, I called my manager and I said, you got to get me on this deal, because this is something, this is big, and I want to be part of this.
He says he's reviewing several film scripts and plans another tour starting this month. For now, the future continues to shine for the little boy from Marietta.
I'm a happy guy, you know. There was a point in my life where because of my competitive nature or whatever, I constantly wanted to compare myself to whoever the hottest name was that particular day, you know, and constantly be at the very, very top of the heap. That doesn't really appeal to me anymore. I'm the guy who I get to score the winning touchdown at the Super Bowl every day of my life, because my dream gets realized every time I walk on stage.
Travis begins his cross-country tour in April, and one of his stops is Atlanta.